in listen-only.
The Board of Directors. I'll be leading our call this morning. Thanks for joining us. I see we're still getting a few people slowly connecting in. Just a couple of house cleaning items before we get going, just to let everybody know as you all roll in. In today's meeting, we're going to actually do a little bit of a roundtable and some introductions, because we found that as the chapter leader and SIG leader community is growing, we're not always all getting the opportunity to interact and get to know each other and what each other brings to the virtual table. So we're going to take advantage of our time together this morning and just have a quick roundtable of introductions to go through. So because of that, shortly Stephanie is going to unmute everybody. So we would ask that each of you, if you look on your GoToMeeting control panel, there's a little microphone icon that we'd ask you to just click on that microphone icon so that it's in the mute position. Once Stephanie unmutes you, you should be in the mute state right now, but once Stephanie releases that, if you're calling in and you're not using the GoToMeeting applet, just ask if you have a mute on your phone, if you could please use that until we ask for your turn to introduce yourself. That way it just will reduce the background noise. We're certainly open to questions anytime as we go through the presentations. And the last item for housekeeping. All right. Apparently the mute works really well. I am now unmuted. And the last item for housekeeping that I wanted to share is just to let everybody know that when we get to the end of our presentation or the end of the hour, either way we'll be wrapping up. We, in respect for everybody's time, we want to be as punctual as possible today. So that all said, thank you very much for the folks who are on the call and joining us. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. And again, if I could just ask anyone who is not currently muted, if they could mute their line until we do the roundtable, I would appreciate that very much. All right, so let's get rolling. First and foremost, happy Valentine's Day for everyone where it's still Valentine's Day. If any of you are moved on past that, I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. And from Stephanie and myself and the rest of the directors, we just love hanging with you guys. So our agenda for today. We're going to, as I said, do what I'm referring to as a virtual roundtable, where we'll ask everyone who's on the call to introduce themselves and just tell us a little bit about your SIG or your chapter that you're involved in, and any speaking or professional writing experience that you have, and we'll get into that in a little bit shortly. We're going to do some updates on our special interest groups and our chapters, what's been happening, so everybody is up to speed. We're going to discuss the Speaker Bureau. This is something that many of you have been asking for a long time, and we're getting this up and running, making use of the Web 2.0 facilities on our new site, to leveraging those to make sure that we can get this to happen. So that's exciting news there, and we'll touch on that. And last, certainly not least, a whole whack of updates on HP Discover 2012 Las Vegas. Seems like it's a long ways away, but it's coming soon. All right. Okay, with that, I think I see Bernard have your hand raised. Is there a question you'd like to ask at this point?
Bernard, you're unmuted.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I was just trying to get the screen to shove over, and I accidentally clicked the little hand instead of clicking the
that's
hide
okay.
control panel.
No worries.
Renee has his hand raised. Let's see. Here we go. Renee, are you there? Okay. Renee? Okay. You may be coming in. Okay.
All right. There we go. We'll clear the raised hands, and we'll move on to our next item if there's no other questions at this point.
Okay.
Great. So what we'd like to do is take the opportunity for each of you to introduce yourself to well, to each other and to Stephanie and I. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. I think most of you we have, but for those we haven't, that would be great. Just ask you to share your name. And what we'll do is we'll just get Stephanie, if you don't mind, to maybe just call out the names sort of roll call style as we go through the list.
Okay. Bernard, could we get you to start? You're at the top. So don't forget to unmute yourself.
Before we do that, maybe
Okay.
I'll explain what some of the other bullet items here are.
Okay.
Just to help everybody be on a level playing field. If you're currently leading a chapter or a special interest group, if you could just let us know which one or ones those are. We're also asking if you have particular expertise in any particular or group of HP software products or product suites, if you could share with us which ones those are. And we're curious about any content that you've developed or public speaking experience that you've had. Obviously a bit of a loaded question, but as we're all chapter leaders, we're always interested in how we can help each other out with content for our SIGs and our local chapter meetings. So maybe it's a good opportunity to share with each other any experience we have in those areas.
Okay, great.
So with that, absolutely, Stephanie, I'll hand the microphone over to you.
Okay. Bernard, would you like to go first? Just don't forget to unmute yourself. And if you guys are on the phone, just enter your audio pins and then mute yourself. And for those of you just joining us, we're opening up to everyone. Just you have to self-mute on the green microphone button on your control panel. So Bernard, if you want to go, I can unmute you, or you're unmuted now, Bernard.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Bernard Shimshak. I work for Progressive Insurance. I am our Quality Center Administrator. The chapter SIG leading, I'm a co-leader for the Northeast Ohio ALM chapter. And HP software expertise, I have that in both HP Quality Center, going all the way back to when it was Test Director, and into Quick Test Professional, way back before it was even owned by Mercury when it used to be Astra. So I'm pretty familiar with the functional testing piece as well as with the application lifecycle management piece. And about any content that I've developed, I developed our version of what we consider an Agile accelerator here at Progressive, where we have our very own Agile type implementation using a bit of Scrum and a bit of pure Agile to create an application lifecycle management process inside the tool itself of Quality Center 10 Premier. And for public speaking experience, I've spoke at Ohio State University before, down at the Mansfield campus, as well as at quite a few gaming conventions back in the day when I used to help hawk some products for Wizards of the Coast. And that's pretty much about it.
Great. Thank you, Bernard. Appreciate it. Okay, Chuck Masters, are you here? I can see you. Well, let's see if I can unmute you. I've sent. If you can enter your audio pin, I'll come back to you. I've sent it to you. And David Jenkins, also, I can see you, but I can't unmute you. You have to enter your audio pin. So David Levine, you're next. I'm going to unmute you. David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Okay, hi.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm very happy and pleased for the opportunity to be part of this special group of people. My name is David Levine, and I'm the functional architect for Executive Scorecard. I'm an HP employee, and I will be co-leading the PI SIG, and that's basically it.
Oh, sorry, I just realized I was muted. Next up, Judy, I believe.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
No,
Very, very
barely.
faint.
I'll try to make that better. Now?
You're just very distant, but it is better.
I'll do my best.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so my name is Giri Pridor. I work for Perfecto Mobile. We have a cloud-based mobile test automation platform that is fully integrated with the HP ALM suite with an add-on to QTP we call Mobile Cloud for QTP that we jointly developed with HP R&D and offer mainly HP customers, also others, to extend their HP empowered software testing to mobile. Testing on real devices and emulators through our integration, our platform. I manage the new, I'm one of the chapter, the SIG leaders for the newly opened SIG called Mobile, together with Todd DeCapua from Shunra, which I don't know, I believe he's also on this call. And we just opened it, I think 2 weeks ago, gathering people in there with interests in mobile application development, testing, and such. Speaking experience, I've been speaking in different mobile events and regional quality assurance events in Europe and in the US and Canada, mainly about the mobile aspect of testing and application lifecycle management. And content-wise also, me personally and us, we've been writing a lot about enterprise mobility challenges, testing, best practices, and some blog posts in Vivit as well on the HP blogs and more. So that's basically it.
Well, great. Thank you, Giddy. Martin, you're next. Martin Stuvier?
Yes, I'm there.
There you
I'm
are.
there.
Okay, here you are.
Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Yes, my name is Martijn Stuyver. I'm working with Westbury. We provide an operational reporting solution for HP Service Manager. Offices in Europe and offices in the USA. Our product is certified by HP and nowadays closely working with HP on operational reporting opportunities. At the same time, within Vivit, we try to support the worldwide special interest group for HP service management. We have several meetings per year, which actually are most of the time webinars. We did a 3-piece webinar on Service Manager about the new version, about upgrading, and we will also have one meeting with the developers of Service Manager. And locally in the Netherlands, I'm hosting a local chapter which we just started up, and hopefully one of our first meetings is scheduled for early March. And the last activity I'm working on is trying to get some vivid response and awareness around to the customer forums, which are organized 2 times a year. Hopefully somewhere later this year also in London. Yeah, that's for my part.
Great. Thank you, Martine. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Paul Peisner, I'm going to unmute you. Hi, Paul.
Hi, this is Paul.
Hi.
I didn't know I was mute. I thought I was muted.
Oh, I unmuted you. It's your turn.
So Paul Peisner from Collabnet. Collabnet's a company that's been associated mostly with developers, and the developers, about half the world's developers use some of our open source tools, especially Subversion. We're working more closely with the QA teams and for higher quality of service. I'm managing the San Francisco, San Jose chapters locally here, and I'm also working to help define the industry's DevOps definition so that it's inclusive of all of HP's operational and apps product lines together in a working solution. And we're going to be launching the SIG this week on Thursday morning.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. The next person on the list is Ramesh. Ramesh, I'm going to unmute you. Ramesh? Ramesh?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I work for HP Software in India. So I look after global alliance partners for HP. I work for the apps portfolio for HP Software. So I have some experience in managing the IBM user groups before joining HP. So I used to manage some of the local groups. In HP, the Vivit group I joined recently, so till now I have not attended any live session, but I do attend some webinars. So yeah, so I want to actively participate in holding some events in India, in Bangalore.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Ramesh. Renee, I'm going to unmute you now. Renee, are you there? Renee? Okay. I can't hear you, Renee, but I can see you. Renee, I'll come back to you. I'll go on to Rocky. Rocky, I'm going to unmute you. Rocky, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, great. I can hear you loud and clear.
I am the Vivit photographer. I'm fairly new to Vivit. Now, reality is I'm with PCI. We're an HP channel partner since the HP software became available to partners back in the 90s, and been active with providing those solutions and integrations ever since, and part of that being very active with Vivit and bringing the community together, mainly in the chapters of Michigan and Ohio, and providing operations content from the operational domain of the HP suite to chapters in Chicago, Indiana, and with the help of Denver down in Kentucky someday. So pretty active, and that's me.
Great. Well, thank you, Rocky. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to see if Renee had his hand raised. I'm going to try him one more time. Renee, are you there? Renee? For some reason, I can't get Renee. Okay. So Roland Davis, I'm going to unmute you now. Okay, Roland, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So my name's Roland Davis. I'm actually an HP employee. I look after software sales for information management in Western Canada. One of the areas that I've been working with Vivit on is just around the area of the SIG there for HP Trim. And I've been very active in the community for HP Trim here in Western Canada. We actually have a lot of customers that have kind of formed their own special interest groups, so we're looking to roll them in underneath the HP SIG, HP Trim SIG for Vivit. In terms of my software expertise, I've been selling software for, the last 10 years or so, so quite a bit. In terms of HP software, I've been with HP, though, for the last year. And I'm always doing public speaking, always going around and talking about the benefits of HP for information management. So that's a little bit about me and how I fit into the Vivit community.
Well, great. Thank you, Roland. All right, Sean Morrison, I'm going to open you up now. Let's see. Here you are. Sean, are you here? Sean? Oh, hi. We can hear you. Great. I'm glad you could join us.
Great. Yeah, my name is Sean Morrison. I'm involved in the Northern California chapter and just kind of getting involved with Vivit, so this is kind of my first participation. And I work for Genalogics, and we resell and work with the testing suite of HP products, so the expertise there is with ALM and Quality Center. And our company also has its own intellectual property, including what we call Quality Center E-Approve, which is for pharmaceutical, biotech, and hospital companies that are worried about e-signature and using the products within FDA-validated environments. And for myself, I have, I'll say, pretty extensive public speaking experience just from my career.
Great. Thanks, Sean. We're so glad you could join us today as well.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to go back and see if I can't get Chuck Masters. And then I think there's just 3 people we can get. Chuck, are you there? I can't seem to unmute you. It says you need to enter your audio pin. I don't know if you've had trouble. Or David Jenkins from the UK. Chuck is in Washington, D.C. We call it the Mid-Atlantic chapter. He's a chapter leader there. And David Jenkins I'm having trouble getting as well. He is one of our trim SIG leaders in the UK. So I can't seem to open you up. I apologize here. And then Renee, I'm going to try you as well. Renee is our chapter leader over in Belgium. So let's see. Renee. Okay. Well, Jason, I can't seem to open them up. So if you want to continue on, we'll see if we can't get them a little later.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Stephanie. For those of you who weren't able to communicate with whatever audio challenges we're having here, and I did notice as well there's a couple of question marks there, so Stephanie, maybe you can quickly follow up on the questions while I move on, if that's all right. So you can handle those electronically offline.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That'd be great. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your participation in that roundtable exercise. So moving on, we wanted to just give you a little bit of insight into some of the growth that's been going on for local chapters, which was always sort of the foundation of Vivit as an organization. We're up to 56 local chapters spanning 21 countries. That's 56 active local chapters. We definitely have a handful more on top of that that are popping up and growing, and really appreciate the efforts. I know there's definitely a few of the new chapter leaders on the call this morning, which is fantastic. We're so delighted to have you joining us, and SIGs as well. A couple of the SIGs were mentioned as we went through the list there as well by a couple of you folks who are helping us lead those SIGs. 11 special interest groups is amazing, considering 2 years ago I think we had, if I'm correct, around 5 or 6. So the growth rate there is amazing, and the activity that we're seeing in all of your SIGs is great. So just again, as I said off the start, we love hanging with you guys, and thanks for the work. That's fantastic. So next here you see a giant bullet that says, or a giant text that says map, which is terribly exciting, but let's see if I can't click on this and launch it. Now I've got it working. So one moment. I need to there we go. Hopefully you can all see what I've brought up, which is the Vivit website. But if you haven't had a chance to see this yet, we've put a lot of work into this. we actually now have, if you go to the chapters section under the chapters and SIGs, so under chapters and SIGs, if you go to local chapters, you will come to this page now, which is a, we have the traditional listing for folks to find where all the local chapters are, but we also have a map which will help us dynamically, will help anyone who's interested in Vivit worldwide find the chapter closest to them and find out some key information about it. So if we're to, I'm just going to pick one here in EMEA space, and if we were to click on it, what we will get is a pop-up here. So obviously we're leveraging the power of Google Maps, and have the ability to also give a little more information about each of these chapters and a link directly to that chapter's page. So new tool, we're quite excited about it, and hopefully we'll be able to make use of it. This is, again, one of those tools that came from suggestions from the leaders, so we've implemented it, and we love getting your guys' suggestions. So as often as you have these great suggestions to share with us, please bring them up, and we're always happy to work with you and bring more value to the Vivit membership. So again, something you can point out to anybody in your special interest groups who are interested in connecting more locally to their community. That's really what the function of this tool is. Do we have any questions or comments about this in particular before we moved on? Oh, Stephanie, I'll assume that none of the questions that are popped up are with respect to this.
Right, yes, you can move on. And
Okay.
there's a questions pane too, just to remind you guys, as some of you have already found. I'm corresponding with you.
Okay, so looks like it's all audio pin related questions, so I'll let you handle those. Thank you very much. All right, and I'm going to switch back to the presentation. There we go. So just a reminder about active chapters and SIGs, what it means to be active. By our definition, it means that there's 2 events per year in either your SIG or chapter. Can include any of these following items: face-to-face meetings, webinars, roundtable discussions, or even simple meet and greets. We just ask that at least 2 times a year that your SIG or chapter has some sort of event, certainly within those categories. And remind you that if you find that you're struggling with getting the events going, finding speakers, etc., please reach out to Stephanie and myself. That's why we're here, to help you with that. And I'll let that be the segue into the next topic, which is the Speakers Bureau. Again, a suggestion that's been come up from the leaders, from yourselves, is some sort of tool to help us locate speakers on a per topic or per geography basis. And what we've done is there is it's effectively, it looks like a survey to start with the data gathering. That's I don't believe it's live yet, Stephanie, is that correct?
Yes, they'll be receiving an email when we launch it officially, right?
Okay, so that'll be within the next month, as I understand. But stay tuned for that email when we will launch it, and effectively it starts with a survey, simple survey, that will be pointing people who are interested in speaking or presenting at local chapters to, and we'd ask you as leaders if you can contact any of those folks and that you know of who could be potential speakers, or even yourselves. As you fill out the survey, it'll populate the data, and then as the leaders you'll be able to search that data on either topic, HP software, or location, well, a number of fields that it'll be searchable by, and you'll be able to then reach out and contact those speakers or potential speakers directly to recruit them to speak at your local chapter or on a webinar for your SIG. Let's pause for a moment. Stephanie, did we have any questions or comments from folks regarding the Speaker Bureau?
No hands raised, and there's no questions in the question pane.
All right. Okay. Great. Thanks, folks, and we will continue moving along. So, our final topic for this morning is the Discover 2012 in Vegas. I'm sure we're all excited and delighted that it's back in Las Vegas again. I guess one of the first things I'll share with you guys is that there is, if you haven't noticed it yet, there is actually a new site. HP has redesigned the HP Discover site this year again. They've gone with a very white site, so the screenshot you're seeing here is very much in line with the marketing image that HP is trying to produce for the show. So key things as leaders that you should know. All Vivit members will be receiving a discounted rate, $300 savings for registering to the conference. Again, that'll be any Vivit member will be eligible for that rate. No differentiation between different membership levels. If you have a free Vivit membership, you are eligible for that $300 savings. So that is huge this year. There's a registration code. All this information as well will be published. All that information will be published in some emails coming out, and some that have already gone out as well that I believe you've seen. Again, just some more details on this slide. You should have that information. But again, anytime that you have any questions on any of this stuff, please reach out to Stephanie, myself, Susan, any of us, or any of the other directors who you might rub shoulders with. We're all here to help with that information. Once again, we'll be doing the Vivit Advanced Training the Monday as the conference kicks off. Quite a few sessions again this year. Just doing a quick count there. We're up to 8 courses. As it says at the bottom, there are some others being considered. I don't know off the top of my head what those are, but Christopher Scher from the Vivit Board of Directors is running with this, and he would certainly be a contact point if you have further questions on that. And any questions that you do have, again, always Stephanie or myself can route those through to Christopher and get you the answers that you're looking for. But we ask you again to promote this at your local chapters and your SIGs consistently. Those who have attended this training, just give us 2 thumbs up and find that if they were already planning on going to the conference, the money spent on this half-day training is invaluable. So we're pleased to be offering it once again. If you are interested in speaking at the conference, the deadline for submissions is Monday, February 20th, which is coming up very quickly, less than a week, if my calculations are correct. So we certainly encourage any of you folks and any of the folks in your SIGs and chapters who have an interesting idea that you'd like to share, or an interesting experience that you'd like to share that's relevant to HP software world, that would be fantastic. So again, all the details there. And I should probably at this point remind everybody that if I'm flipping through any of this too fast, and or if the anybody you want to share this information with wasn't able to make the call, this session is being recorded and can be played back later. Also, we are looking for track chairs. HP has reached out to Vivit and said, hey, we recognize that you guys have the market cornered on a lot of the people who really know this stuff and really know what people want to hear and see at the conference. So if you've never volunteered as a track chair before, or if you have volunteered as a track chair before and you'd like to do it again, we'd ask you to get in touch with us. You can certainly, through any of the directors or through Stephanie, reach out and we can get you connected into the right folks to help you get involved. It's a great experience. It's a fair bit of work. You do need to read through all the proposals that come in and assess them as a team. You would be working in a specific track, so usually the tracks are broken out by product suite or technology or business use. So that'll all start to really be formulated in the next few weeks. We'll see that information come out from HP on how they want to break out the tracks, and then we would like to be able to help as Vivit members to populate those track chair positions so that Vivit has a lot of say, and as HP software users and partners, you have some say as to what's being presented at the conference. So great opportunity. I encourage you to participate if you can make the time for it. We will once again be having the Vivit Roundtables. Couple of caveats. HP is asking that they must be led by someone who is in a customer role. If you're a partner, we ask you to please enlist a customer to co-chair along with you, but HP is, and rightly so, asking that that there's a stronger customer presence in the roundtables this year, so we are certainly trying to help encourage that. HP is also ensuring that there's a product manager available, which is great news as well. That'll help with the roundtables. So again, if you are interested or if you have any questions or comments on that, if you could contact Stephanie with her contact information there, which hopefully you all have anyways, but she'd be happy to start to collect all that and answer the questions. And again, deadline for submissions is coming up rather quickly, February 17th. And none of this should be news, hopefully, for you, unless you've recently joined us, joined our organization, because I believe this was covered off in an email that went out last month. And as leaders, what activities are going to be going on at the conference? Well, we are going to have our leader face-to-face meeting. We're going to be running it on. We're going to be running a morning meeting this time. We're going to try something a little different. We're going to be having an appreciation party at the Legacy Stadium Tuesday evening. For those who were there last year for that event, that was quite enjoyable, and hopefully will be a repeat. Wednesday the 6th, all the Vivit leaders who are there able to attend the conference, we will be having a night out, so please make sure that you are coordinating any attendance that you'll be having at the conference with Stephanie so that we're aware that you're there, and make sure we invite you out. And we also, of course, always ask if you have an hour or two sometime during the conference that you can volunteer to help out at the community lounge, represent your chapter or your SIG during the exhibit hours. We would definitely appreciate that. So in May, we'll be formally requesting it, but if you're already starting to plan your trip in February, first of all, good for you to be that proactive, and secondly, please consider making just a little bit of time to help out at the booth. We always really appreciate that. Awards. So last year we had the Vivit Leader of the Year, which is a chapter or SIG leader who has made significant efforts in moving Vivit forward. Champion of the Year is also a huge event for us that we'll be doing. Champion of the Year is more, sorry, apologize for the beeping there. Champion of the Year is someone who is associated with HP or a partner organization, but is doing a lot to promote Vivit and the goals of Vivit. And we have a new category this year, the Vivit Executive Innovator of the Year. So first of all, we thank Paul Peisner for bringing forward that suggestion. We've had some discussion around that, and we're going to move forward with that idea. You'll see some more information coming out around that as we develop that idea. So it's a brand new idea. It's brand new this year, and we're just going to wrap a little bit more formality around how we're going to ask you guys to help nominate for that award. And so yeah, please stay tuned and help participate in nomination not only for that but for all of the awards. We always appreciate the nominations that the chapter leaders and SIG leaders bring forward. So I've blasted through the slides and hopefully covered off most of what the possible questions that came up on those, but that doesn't mean I've covered everything. So at this point, we'll turn it over if you folks have any questions or comments on today's meeting.
You guys can either type a question in the questions pane or raise your hand and I can unmute you. So just let us know. Giddy did ask, what is a track chair? You kind of explained it, but I didn't know if there was more details to it. Jason?
Sure, I can speak to that again.
Okay.
So a track chair, pardon me, is obviously involved with determining the sessions that will be taking place at HP Discover. So the role of the track chair is to help solicit presentations, but mostly to review submissions for presentations against the criteria that HP and Vivit collectively agree are the key criteria that we're looking for in any particular track. Usually, you want to stay away from something that's blatantly sales. It's similar to what we try and do as chapter leaders when we're getting content for our local chapters or SIGs. So you'll be doing that just on a slightly larger scale, and then coordinating with the respective presentations or presenters, I should say, who are selected by the end of that process. There is more information that we can get out, a lot more detail that we can get out to any of you who are possibly interested, but maybe just not quite sure what's involved. We can gather up that information from HP. It's like I said, it's we're in the early stages here of that aspect. HP is really focusing on the call for papers right now, just to sorry, one moment. Apologies for that. Didn't think you wanted to hear me clear my throat. HP is just in the final process of making sure they can get as much content in as possible. And then there's a content management system that's used that you'll be given access to, and you'll be able to go in. So it's not like you're going to have a flood of emails you have to deal through. It is an entirely online system you go through and you evaluate with a group of peers per track on what sessions you feel are of the most value.
Okay. I don't see any other hands raised or questions, but we did have Renee who was able to join us. I was going to let Renee introduce himself, and if y'all have any other questions, please type them in the questions pane or raise your hand, but I'll unmute Renee. I still haven't had any luck with Chuck or David Jenkins. I'm sorry, guys. But Renee, here you go. Are you there? Renee? Well, maybe we didn't have luck with Renee either. Okay, well, we tried. We gave it a good try, so I'm sorry. All right, any other questions? Or if you think of anything, you can always email Jason or I as well. I don't see any more, Jason. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Try him one more time. Let's see. Are you there, Renee? Renee? Okay, we gave it a good try. All right, Jason, I think that's about it. I don't see any other questions.
Great. Well, then
Okay.
I'll wrap it up. I'll give everybody an extra 15 to 10 minutes of their day back. I know we'll all appreciate that. Thank you all very much for your time this morning. As always, we appreciate all the time you put in as leaders, and look forward to any of you who we get an opportunity to meet in person at the conferences. And as always, Stephanie and myself are available to help you guys out the best we can to be successful in leading your local chapters and SIGs. So thank you, happy Valentine's Day, and have a great week.